We got inch and a half of rain last night, and we have 25-mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 45 miles an hour today. Yesterday we had the tornado watch. Well, actually, it started up that way, and then we had a tornado watch right here later in the day. But none of that today, just very windy. What I need to do today is get down into the woods over here where I've been clearing and see how my Indian grass is doing. Then I'm going to drop down to the rock road and circle back this way and see if I got any trees down. There very well might be some trees down there. Then I'm going to walk up through the woods over here and just get an idea of what kind of trees are there. I've never really been back in there and looked thoroughly. I think the last time I was in there was like 14 years ago. Got some decent grass in this pasture that the horses should be eating. I'm going to have to get them over here once the weather clears up a little bit. But here's where I'm going. You've seen me do all that hacking and squirting early in the year. It was probably a month and a half ago when I got the second batch of little blue stem seed. I got 2 pounds of Indian grass seed and tossed it in here. Indian grass gets to 4 to 6 feet, and it's supposed to be highly nutritious. It's a good grazing grass. So I want to try grazing the horses on that Indian grass back here. So we'll see how it works. If you've seen any of the update videos, a lot of these damn trees did not die back like they should have. So I will be doing some girdling in here this winter so that they don't get a start next summer. So I'm seeing a bunch of bunches here, but I don't know if they're grasses or if these are sedges. I believe these are grasses. They're probably orchard grass. Orchard grass grows well in the woods. It got its name orchard grass because it was found a lot growing under the trees in orchards. So people just called it that, orchard grass, and hence its name. See, I believe this stuff was growing here, and a lot of the rest of this stuff is from me seeding. But I don't, see, I gotta get rid of this thistle, all these little trees and stuff. I really need to get in and spray some 2,4-D in here again. It's just going to be an ongoing process for a few years. So I should be able to tell on this Indian grass has a very distinct ligule. And I believe this is Indian grass. It has like a little gun sight on the ligule. If I can find... Well, that would be interesting if one got this big so quick. But then again, it's a native grass, so it could have been here all along. That looks like it. I was just looking at samples earlier, so maybe this other stuff here is Indian grass as well, and it's just smaller. It's really hard to tell on first year perennials because I've found that first year perennials a lot of times do not look like what the final plant will be. So who knows? I'm going to guess a lot of this is Indian grass. But I think we'll see in the spring. If I get in here with some 2,4-D early in the spring and knock back this vegetation in here, I should get a good stand of grass in here. But I need to get rid of all of these trees. Once this stuff becomes well established, the deer will absolutely be grazing in here, but not until a little bit later in the year, I don't think. Because right now they have beans and corn to feast on, so they get a lot of fat out of that stuff, so that, you know, I think they prefer that right now. But that will be harvested pretty soon, and then they have to rely on the natural stuff, or in this case what I've planted, which is a reversion to natural. Yeah, this was blown down. I had it marked to save, but it was actually dead, because I marked a lot of this stuff before the leaves came out. There's several trees down here. This one was just broken by the wind. It got pretty bad last night. It was very, very windy. Yeah, this area's got way more forbs than grass. All this broadleaf stuff. Got a few tufts here and there. Up in here. But I gotta get this stuff knocked down. I really don't know if it's worthwhile to spray in here this year. This is probably the only place I can spray, because I have new grass seeded in the west pasture as well as on the new land up on top. But this has been maybe a month and a half, whatever it's been a long time. It's been plenty of time for spraying with 2,4-D, so if I do spray, I can get in here and spray 2-3 tanks full and knock this stuff back so that grass has a better start in the spring. And then I'll get in here get in here in the spring and seed again. Wow, very windy. I really need to watch out for trees falling on me, as I've already had one try to kill me this year. You might have seen that video. But I really don't know. I shot bluegrass seed in here early in the year, but none of this looks like bluegrass. But I don't know. Maybe bluegrass does look like this, but this all looks like bunch grass. I've never really seen bluegrass get long. It's always cut, or the horses always bite it right down because they love bluegrass. But this definitely does, you know, it looks like a bunch grass, and bluegrass is a turf grass. This area's had more light for a couple years because I thinned it out in here, and there was a lot of trees in here that died naturally. So there's been more light in here, and seed washed down when this field was planted, 4 years ago or so. A lot of seed must have washed down into here. So I'm not sure what most of this stuff is, but none of it has seed heads on it. So it's spreading by rhizomes, or maybe it's not spreading at all. This all could be from seed. But this garbage has to go. All this weed. You got to get the grass dense enough so that stuff can't grow, like up here. I'll take a quick look at that and then get down onto the rock road. See, this is nice and dense. This had grass growing on it already a bit, and then I added more seed early this year. You could see something was eating here and or bedding. But look at how dense that is. That's what I want. The weeds don't have much of a chance when you have really dense grass. And the pasture still has some time on it. The horses need to get back over here and bite this stuff down one last time, I believe, and then we'll lock this up for the rest of the year, mow it down, lock it up, and this pasture will be resting until next year. You know, that looks like the same grass I was just looking at back in the woods. And this is definitely not Indian grass, unless it's a remnant from back when this was prairie here, oak savanna prairie. And again, that's all my oats and my American chestnut tree. But let's get down this road and see if there's any trees down. It's pretty much never ending with all of the ash dying out. The woods is just full of these dead ash. There's one there as well. They can fall at any time. Probably seen it before. They're just everywhere in the woods. But there's the one that, just recently I cleared a little bit of stuff from the ground and showed how that was kind of forked up in the tree. But the wind seems to have made it slide down a little bit, See, all this stuff here is from another dead tree. Right here, it's not an ash, it's an aspen. Not sure what kind, big tooth or quaking aspen. But I don't believe this is actually dead, but it's almost dead. And it's lost its leaves already because it's not doing very well. But this is going to be a problem very soon. It's just got that little branch right there holding it forked like that. Oh, it might be resting on that over there too. But that'll come down across the road soon. And you hate to like get back there and cut on this stuff because it can pivot up, and if it hits you, you are dead. Yeah, I'll have to get this one out of here so I can drive through here and just hope to hell it doesn't fall on me sometime when I'm walking underneath it. Yeah, it's going to be a big cleanup. 2 good-sized trees. I'll see if I can get a view down the ravine road down this way. That's where that assassin tree came after me, tried jumping me. I escaped that one, but one of these damn things might get me someday. I don't see any down there. We still got to go up that way. You can see where it's washed out a little bit from the rain. Just been having a lot of rain. Yeah, this is a green ash right here. Mostly the tops break off first. That's the first thing to go. But then these roots, they snap all the way around and then they just fall over. That's what happened with the one that fell above me when I was on the walk that one day. It's still going to take a couple of years before they all fall, which kind of sucks. It's a lot of work. This is about as far down as the savanna trees come. This is a big maple right here, and you can see the old low branches that it had when this was savanna, before the trees encroached on it. There's another one dead in the middle of the woods right there. You can see the branches coming straight out to the side. I believe that's an oak. There's another giant maple over here, but the top broke off of it a few years back. And then there's the one right at the edge of the east pasture or north pasture up there. That one has grown pretty tall. I don't think it has any low branches, but I'm gonna cut around it, and a lot of times they'll start growing the low branches again. They'll just come shooting right out of the side of the tree, but not out of that tree. That's another dead green ash. You can see the top broke off of that one, and this one still has, nope, the top broke off of that one as well. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big ones right here that can fall across the road. Then we got this one, that one, just a whole lot of them. There's a big one ready to fall across the road right there, and another big one ready to, they're leaning towards the road. So this area right in here was like a stand of green ash, and since they've died, the maples that were here have taken over, and this is mostly maple in here, which I don't necessarily want. I'm not making syrup, so really have no use for them. It's really weird seeing the sky through there. You can see our house up there, but this is the Oak Savanna project. That's a walnut right there, but these are the oaks right here. There's 4 of them right here. And then there's a few more big trees that way. There's a black oak up there. This is the area that I want to investigate right over here. When we first bought the land, all that was down here was a deer trail. Which, where is that? It runs right through here. The tree is kind of down across it. And then it continues through here. We cut this road through it, but the deer still use it. So this was the flattest area we could find, right in here somewhere. I'll have to find that. But we camped here with quite a few people. There was, I don't know, 5, 6 cars. And we camped right in here along the trail. We moved back and forth on the trail, and we had some tents kind of sideways on the side of the hill here. And it rained the entire time we were here. Very heavy, but steady rain as well. And it got so bad that our car is parked up on the top in the field up there. Our tires were just sliding. It was so slippery. This clay here is so greasy. We were having a hard time just moving up there. So we couldn't go anywhere uphill. So we had to drive our cars over the edge and down to the end of the road and then cross where there was no ravine. And my brother had his 4-wheel drive down here, and he couldn't get it out for a couple weeks. He had to drive a couple, 230 miles back to here to get his vehicle. He had to wait till it's dried out. This is a distance tag for my nephew's deer stand, which is back there. So the deer run here is right at the end of his range. Got a lot of crap in the way too. It's really nice down here. There's a ton of rocks. The ledge runs through here. This will all be cleared out, and what I'm going to do today is just walk in through here, zigzag around a little bit, and see what's down here. I do believe most of this stuff needs to just be cut out, like this elm here, the maple there, and just tons of little stuff. A lot of this is going to just be invasive stuff anyways. But regardless of whether it's invasive or not, it's coming out. This maple needs to go right away because it's shading out part of this big oak right here. I don't know if any of these lower branches are still alive or not, but they may make a comeback when these other trees are out of here. But even if they don't, new branches will start. They might come further back on the branch and then just start a new branch there. It's already done that on some of the other ones up there. So the majority of this stuff needs to come out of here. So I don't know if he wants to move his stand. He probably will. and move it back onto our new land, which is straight up that way. We're going to put a road through here, so that's probably not the best place. And the tree is a dead ash, and it may fall before he uses it. Not the safest place to be to start with. So I'm going to take a look around, see what's here. I do believe, see, there was a campfire ring in here. I need to find that as well. I've wanted to kind of keep the old campsite cleared out and put it along the trail just to remember the very early days. I see we got a ton of T-posts here, or U-posts. I think this goes back to like the first year we were here. We were going to put U-posts along our lot line, which I think it goes right along this big tree here, which is, I believe that's a hickory, a pig nut hickory. But that's interesting. That's the first time I've seen those, likely since they were put there. But this is kind of the area. You can see how it's a little bit flat here. This is right around where we camped, but I don't see a fire pit anywhere. Maybe I'll be able to find it, but it's not that important. I turned off the camera. I was talking about the U-post, and I was gonna work my way back that way and look further, and I almost tripped over. You can see a ring of rocks going around and around and around, and it makes a full ring. This is the fire pit right here. So I'll just come down here with a handheld lopper and lop this. This is, oh, what the hell is that? I know that tree, but I can't think of it. Anyways, you got some brambles growing in there, but there it is. I'll get this nice and cleared out, and this will be, well, we can camp down here too if we wanted to. But look at all the moss that's on the rocks. That was in '04, spring of '04 that we camped here, Camp Misery. My sister got really bad burns. I forget what the hell happened, but she got burned real bad from, I don't know if it was boiling water or what the hell the deal was, but yeah, it was a miserable time. All right, let me get through here and do some tree ID. When my daughter was younger, she used to hang out down here by this mossy rock, and she had a little trail going down. You can kind of still see it. And she would hang out on this group of rocks down here. There's a nice flat one. And she would play school, and she showed me all her different little areas down there way back when. And she loved to go up and down the ravine. It's probably a good quarter of a mile to the bottom of the ravine here. And right in this area, like especially right up here, it's about 35 feet deep. It's pretty damn deep. It gets less deep right through here, and then you can actually cross it right up here. Just walk across. It's just starting to get the moss back on the rocks. That gigantic rainfall we had 18 inches overnight 2 years ago in November. So it's coming up on 2 years. It polished these rocks. There was so much water in here. They were just white. All last year they were completely white, and then they just finally started turning a little bit green towards the end of last year. Now they're starting to look pretty cool again. I really love the mossy look like that. But I am finding nothing much down in here, and that's what I found coming from that way. That's our new land up there. That's my nephew's camera is right here pointing down this deer run. But this area right here, if you watched any of them other videos, this is where we had a straight line wind event, which is like a tornado that moves in a straight line. It took down a boatload of trees here. You could still see all the different trees that dropped. And that was like the third year that we had the land. So this area is still pretty open from that. This is another area. This area is actually easy pickings for creating the oak savanna, because there's not a lot of big trees here. It should be fairly easy for me to get in here and clear all this little stuff out of here and just spray it with 2,4-D and then come back and plant some prairie grass. And once that stuff's established, the prairie grass, it has such deep roots that this other stuff won't have a chance to come back, or much less of a chance. Yeah, I'm going to leave the pignut hickory there, even though it's not a oak savanna tree. Or if it is, it's a lesser one. Just because it's a nice big tree. Well, I'm going to walk up here and then end this hike. Very, very windy. Well, I found the old logging road. This is it, straight down here and off onto our new land there. This is what we used. My brother shuttled camping gear up and down this road, and then Camp Misery is right over there. And this is where he got stuck, right over here. Pretty damn windy. But anyways, that straight line wind knocked all these trees over, and most of them fell across the road way back when. The ones that were all hung up, I dropped them down so that they would rot quicker. When they're hanging up like that, they can stay that way for years. If they drop to the ground, this aspen and birch and stuff rots really quick. But it's still a mess through here. But I do have to clear this road out. Then I'll have, once I get the wood out of the way, at least chopped, I can have a dozer come down here and reshape the road. We're going to use this for a horse trail and as access to get down to our new land. On that new land tour video, I came through this tangle of trees. Now I got to get through there again. There's that one last savanna tree up there. I'm going to head up there and take a look around that, and that'll wrap things up. Okay, this is the giant white oak over here. I'm kind of behind the barn. This one I found earlier, and I wasn't sure if it was on our land or not. And it turns out it wasn't, but now it is. Now that we bought this land. But surrounding it is just total junk. We got this, a bunch of cedars and just miscellaneous crap. I think I'm going to come in here with the brush whacker and clear out all these little trees here. It'll be quick and easy to do. I can get it done in a morning pretty easy. They're all young. And then I can get in here and take out these cedars. Then, what really needs to come out the most is these birches right in here, because the tree is right up into them. So that's a plan. This is something that really needs to happen fairly soon. This, what is that? Honeysuckle. Invasive species. This isn't as bad as some of the other areas as far as invasives go, but, or I should say foreign invasives from, invasives from another country, but it has tons of colonizers, I guess is what they call them, the trees and plants that grow in a place that has been disturbed. This was all field right up to that tree. It had to be, because these are very young trees. Something was keeping this clear until not too long ago. These birch were probably, well, I'm sure they were growing, but cattle must have been keeping the rest of this area clear. I mean, it's just a forest, literally, of little stick trees. I'll come in here like a ninja and get rid of as many as I can in one morning, and then I'll deal with the bigger trees after that. I mean, it doesn't take much to drop a tree. I can let it sit and rot until I want to deal with it. But we had planned on planting a bur oak or two right up in here. This is that rock at the edge of the field, and we will be putting a road in right through here, past the rock and up that way, and there'll be a bur oak right there, right next to the rock, which is a fair enough distance from this one. So then I should probably get one right there and clear this whole area out and get some prairie grasses growing here. one last thing. I've been kind of waiting for the clematis to die back, but I have to take out the shower this fall. What I want to do is cut the clematis back right above, just above ground level, yank that all out of here, take out the shower, just saw off the legs, and then unbolt it, get that out of here. I got to take the pipes out, the shower head's still in there, get all that stuff out of there. It's starting to rot the back of the barn, and it heaved up a couple winters ago, and we haven't been able to use, well, we could have used it, but it was designed to be used when we built the house, and it served its purpose. We are going to build another outdoor shower with a bathtub down in the woods, straight in back of the house somewhere. So this has to go. We'll plant the area, do something here, but this is the original shower that was before, well, the barn was actually built, but we had, I believe it was we had 125-foot hoses. So yeah, it was 500 feet of hose that we would hook up, and we would have it spiraled around on the ground and over here and stuff. This was all just fields. There was no buildings or anything here except for the barn. The barn was the only thing all the way up the road, all the way up to the highway up that way. This was the only structure back here except for one house at the very beginning of this subdivision. But we had posts in the ground, and that 500 feet of hose, black hose, would heat up really nice. So you had enough hot water to take a decent shower, and then the next person would have to wait for it to heat up a bit. But in reality, you could get 2 showers out of it if you played your cards right and turned the water off and soaked up. But anyways, this is the last project, well, at least for this walk. Got never-ending list of stuff to do, but that'll end it for this walk. If you like the video, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and have yourself a great day.